For weeks I've been saying let's look at some VCRs. Let's actually do it this time and look at National NV-G20 and NV-G21. They're very similar machines. Got a couple of them sitting here. Here's the G20. There's a flap there with some controls under it on the back. This one's missing the power supply, probably because it blew up or it got borrowed for another machine, but we'll try it out to see what happens with another power supply. Here's the G21. Seems like I'm going to need a different bench layout, camera position to do VCRs. Oh, this is the first try. So this is the G21. This one has interesting controls on the flap. So that's exciting. And again at the back, this has a power supply in it. And otherwise it's very similar. And I've got another G21 there which also has a power supply in it. Very interesting thing with these is they use a polarized figure 8 plug. It takes a cable like this. It's not something you see every day, and you can use the normal unpolarized connector in there, so I'm not really sure what the point of that is. The only other place that I've seen them is on Canon power supplies for powering your digital camera, which again, I'm not really sure why that needs to be polarized, but yeah, it's got a polarized plug on it. The G series of VCRs, we probably should have started with the earlier models, G7, 10, 12, 16, maybe some others. Then got to the G20 because this is a whole new thing. It's got the G mechanism in it, which is quite different to the earlier models. They implemented half loading instead of the normal or the previous models which always left all the tape in and only got it out when you push play. These ones do a half loading as soon as you put the tape in, so that the tape is always in contact with the control head, and that means you can get a real-time counter for fast forwarding, rewinding, and it's quicker to go into play mode because you've already done half the work. The new G mechanism is more compact. Uses only one motor, the capstan motor, to drive all the load and unload, including the cassette in and out through a complicated arrangement of gears. And they also introduced this new type of cylinder assembly where, let's look at the actual guide. A training manual for G2021 200 and H65. Got an H65, we'll have a look at that another day. This tells you all about it. All the information you need to know about these machines. So they came up with a new fluid or oil bearing to replace the ball bearings of the traditional head drum assembly. Oil film suspension system. As a result of that, pretty much every machine that uses this oil film suspension system won't work now because the oil is dried out. And it means the rotation is now rough and vibrating. So it was a really neat system back in the day because it allowed smaller and all these other advantages, less load and quieter and more efficient and slimmer machines, but it didn't last because the oil dried out, whereas the ball bearing ones just carry on going. Yes, they describe the half load there. The mechanical assembly there, we're from the capstan motor belt, toothed belt, so there's no worrying about slipping, which is really good, and through all those bits and pieces to do all of the loading, including the cassette loading. And the problem with that is if you take the loading mechanism out, the timing will be lost and you got to go through a procedure to put it all back together and get it working again. So before I got this manual, I borrowed one from somebody and photocopied the relevant bits, and because this is critical to have this information, because otherwise if you take it apart you cannot put it back together. They made that point very clear somewhere in this. Yeah, they said the the phase of the mechanism condition becomes very important. Pay much more attention to the phase of the mechanism when reinstall any components of the mechanism. Even if installation of the cassette compartment, mechanical adjustment alignment should be performed. It's probably must, because it's pretty much impossible to take the cassette compartment off without losing the timing of everything. It's transferred through that, the connector gear, onto the other side, where it goes up to the, they call the cassette compartment, through that thing I think, and off the side somewhere. Maybe it's that one. Yes, there it is, how that gear relates to the loading mechanism. You see the grease stains on this because you get dirty hands from touching all these gears while you're trying to look at these instructions. Been well used. Different grease stains copied from someone else's one. Anyway, let's get these apart, these machines apart, try them out and see what we can do. Be good if we can get at least one of them to do something. We'll start off by powering up this, since this one has a power supply in it. I have a cord. Okay, this does not seem to work. That is on and nothing else, nothing on the display, so that's not a very good sign. That one might be dead. Well, it is dead, but let's take a look inside anyway. These three machines I've got here came off the scrap heap. The double ups, or otherwise not as good as the other ones in my collection, so I do have a better version of these models in the collection. Yeah, there's something a bit juicy going on there with the above the power supply. Let's get all the relevant bits off. So yeah, these were destined for scrapping regardless. So I thought that would be a good thing to start with making VCR videos. There's quite a big pile of other models too in the scrapping pile, because I had so many double ups and triple ups and quadruple ups of different models, so we need to get rid of some because there's no space left. Let's take off as much as we need to swing the board out and take a look at it. The bottom axis, all the good stuff. Going into the loading position and unload. Now you can get the front off by these. Oh, these are the ones because it's got that extra bit on it. It comes up in multiple parts because it's got that flap. There's a ribbon there that goes down to it. And all the red screws. And there's side clips. That one there is snapped off. I don't think there's any screws in under the flap. Okay, the front panel comes off. I think it's mainly the front panel that is difference between the G20 and the G21. So the G21 service manual is very thin because it only tells you about the things that are different. It just says there, refer to the descriptions in the G20 manual. This only contains the additional stuff. And so it's tells you the variations in the parts list. And it's got a schematic for the front panel boards with the tracking, the power switch, and other bits in here, power and eject, which is up there, a schematic for that, and then the timer PCB, which is the thing that's got the display on it. So it's pretty much just the front panel. They show the main PCB, so there must be a few differences with that too, but they don't give you the schematic for the main PCB, so maybe it's just the layout that's changed a little bit. I'm not sure there, because they don't give you any schematic showing you the differences. And then there's an interconnect diagram, exploded views, and then it's just parts lists. Now in order to get the power supply out, I don't know why we're doing this, but just for fun, have a look under there. So all this stuff will lift out, but you have to take these ground wires off. And then you got to get all the front panel boards off. It's quite an effort involved there, which means now we've got to undo all the red screws. Okay, that means this whole control panel thing has to come off. There's clips. There's clips over here. Then that will lift. And then there's whatever those things are, guides for the wires that hold them down. Okay, so that all hinges up out of the way. Then it's possible to lift this up. I think we have to undo that. Maybe. Then all this stuff should come out. Oh, you have to undo that. Not red. Maybe it's faded. Or someone's put back the wrong one. Yeah, there you go, because that went to a post. Probably could read the service manual on how to get it out. So it comes out and then it can sit in here while you work on it. Undo that clip thing. And then that wire gets longer. Presumably the power supply's gone bad, that's the usual thing. But we can see there all the good stuff that's on the board. Power supplies in there. These ones use switch mode power supplies. This is the first model to do that. Earlier than G20 they were transformers and linear regulators, but this is fully switch mode. There's various modules on this main board to handle the video and the tuner part there. And whatever that is. Main control IC, some motor driver stuff. That's servo it says. Okay, but because it doesn't power up properly we can't actually do anything with it unless we can work out what's going on. So I think the first thing would be to try grabbing the power supply out of the other one, if that works, and we can move it into this one. So let's get the other one up here and see what it's up to. The other G21, it's got a snapped off thing there. I think this is where they introduced the digital scanner, which allowed you to set up your timer recording by scanning barcodes on a sheet which configured the clock for start and end time and channel. I don't think the G20 has that, because in the G21 manual they have the schematic of that digital scanner thing. I'll have to have a look at one of those in another video. I'll get one out. I've got a whole bunch of them hiding away somewhere. Quite a neat way, because people don't like the tediousness of pressing the buttons to set the timer. So they made it easy by just scanning the times, hours, minutes, channel from a sheet. Oh, we haven't turned this on, plugged it in yet. Let's plug this in and see what it reckons. You gotta watch out because the fuse is there live. Oh, there's corrosion on that screw. It's probably not in very good shape. It's looking pretty dark in that area. Although it has turned on, the clock is there. So that's promising, isn't it? A video signal connected up, and we'll see if this will work at all. Video out. I've got a tape, scrap tape. This thing looks pretty gross, pretty dirty. Just give things a token gesture wipe. Always stick a good tape in there, although it is just a random tape, that doesn't really matter. Look at that, half load. Try fast forward. Yes. Rewind. Yes. Play. Oh, look at that. Got a sort of working machine. It's probably not stable enough to actually... The picture's quite bad. Yeah, see, it's... Oh, the pause is not too bad. Okay, perhaps we'll clean the heads and other bits and pieces and Let's see if the picture ends up a bit better. It's quite a slow mechanism, promoted as being quiet and slim. I suppose that's better than being fast, is it? We can give the head a bit of a clean and also wipe down the rollers and things. Some isopropyl alcohol on there. I'm going to get apart one of these heads so we can have a look at the oil frost bearing thing, whatever they called it. Seems pretty clean. It is dirty though, down on the fixed part of the drum there. Yeah, all that stuff came off. That might make the head not run very well on it. The tape not run very well on the head. I think this is a well-used machine. They made it quite easy to replace the pinch roller. You just undo this clip. In theory, that comes off. Yeah, that got lots of grease on it. And then that just lifts off. Not the worst, gone a bit smooth, but it's not too bad. And the capstan's not too bad either. Just clean that up a bit. Yeah, it's a bit gross. This machine's been in a dusty environment and probably very well used. Yeah, it's nice the power supply still works. That's good, because some of the others plug them in and it just bang and then that's it, ruined. And I think because the capacitors are at the end of life, so it doesn't work very stably anymore. But if you want to restore it properly, you have to replace all the caps. Be more careful with it. Some of this crust out of it. Full of dust. Full tape path clean, that's what we'll do. I charge you a lot of money for doing that back in the day. Yeah, look at all the crust that's coming off of that. Give that a bit of a wipe. Okay. So it just sits on there, and then this bracket thing goes back. That. I'll just give the head another going over. Can't feel the heads, so maybe they're worn right down. They're supposed to protrude slightly. Oh, they're there, but yeah, I think it's a bit worn. Okay, let's try it out. Head doesn't look in, drum doesn't look in very good shape. Yeah, I think this one's very much on its last legs. Seems to work better in that little capture window than it does on my screen. Can't enter slow motion with this because there's no buttons on it for that. So it could be the head going bad, although this one doesn't seem too bad. Maybe the oil hasn't quite dried out in this one yet. On the screen I've got here, it's more stable, but it's all tearing, which you don't see at all on the captured signal, which is the same signal. So I think this monitor is not very good at latching onto it either. Oh well. Seems a lot more forgiving on the capture screen. Look, it's pretty much come right now. Almost. So perhaps this would be a good working VCR if you had a more forgiving old school analog TV to receive the signal. I suppose we should stop that, otherwise we're going to copyright strike again. Alright, so since this works, we'll take the power supply out of it and we'll stick it in that other machine that we took apart, and then we'll see if it gets that going or not. Okay, but that means to get the power supply out, we've got to take all this stuff out again. Yeah, that's broken. So all these red screws, oh, that screw there wasn't fitted. I'm probably not going to bother putting these back together because yeah, they're going to get scrapped, because I've already kept a much better condition one in the collection. Look at that. It's fully rusted. Maybe something dripped in it. And the back is full of spider webs as well in there. It does feel a bit sad to throw some of these away and scrap them because they're disappearing. It's becoming a rare thing now. But if you try to sell them, No one wants them. Or they want you to ship it far away, but they're not actually going to pay you for the machine. Like $1 reserve auction. No bids unless you're willing to ship it somewhere. So you can see some work was done. Maybe that's 2001 and 2004 perhaps. Some of the other machines in the scrapping pile I'm interested in trying to get going just for fun. There's a couple I think that have of older machines without switch modes that appear to have power regulation or something problems, so we might have a go at trying to get those to work. Machines that I've had for more than 20 years never worked because it was given to me in a dead condition and I've not yet tried to fix it. So we should do that, we should try and fix it. Okay, I'm going to get this stuff off on the front here. Is there a screw I've forgotten? Why is that not coming off? Oh yes, there is, look, it's right there. 2 screws forgotten. Great, now we can get this board opened. Oh yeah, that's all tangled up. Whoever took this apart before must have put it back nicely, or it's never been taken apart. So we're getting the power supply off. So we should undo its screws. So this is all the same guts as what's in the other one. To undo that little clip thing, release the wires, and that clip thing there. Now, the power supply is connected by, it's a kind of ribbon cable thing with that difficult to reattach type thing, wires, whatever. It's not it's just like tinned wires that push into a header thing. Into that. Nice, so we should treasure this because this one actually works. Soldered shut. Don't know if anyone's ever been in there since it was manufactured. Anyway, we'll put this aside and we'll bring back the other one and we'll put the power supply in it and see if it does anything. Okay, so we've got to take the power supply off of this one. Oh, dusty. Take this power supply off. Suspect it's bad. And we'll put on the other one. So this is the machine that the only thing that happened was that tape in light came on even though there was no tape in it. So that looks like a power supply issue. Okay, I'll pull the wires out. Now we're going to get the other power supply in there. So that's maybe bad. Well, it could be something else on the board though that's bad. Plug this thing in without wrecking those little wires and without plugging it in offset. Did that work? I think it did. I'm not sure whether one of them was just bent itself out of the way instead of going in. Oh, it looks okay. Okay, now how does that fold up? Like that. Should we screw that on? Because then we've got to try this power supply in the G20, see what it has to say for itself. Let's put this back into position. Let's see if this turns on. Oh, look at that. It does. Okay, so that means this power supply is bad. Need to write on that. So, we can turn it on. Alright, let's hook up the video signal and see if this has got anything to say for itself. Half loads. The pinch roller seems a bit worn out on that one. Yeah, why did that start? Maybe this has got other issues. Yeah, look at that, it's locked up. Yeah, this has got problems. Ooh. Yeah, it's munting the tape. Okay. Is it back to good or what? Yeah, there's something up with this machine, unfortunately. Something's not very happy about life in general. And it gets part way, and then, oh no, oh yeah, sort of going backwards. Now it's going very slowly in the ejecting position. Yes, there's some sort of system control issue with this machine. Could be the mode switch is dirty. Just down there with that white gear that you can see there. Possible it just doesn't know where it is. Oh well, that's a shame. Well, let's take the power supply out of this and try it in the G20. See if we can get something interesting to happen. I need to fast forward this tape a bit through the bad bit. The bit that this machine just made bad. Okay, it's happy to do that. Okay, we're making another bit of the tape bad now by keeping on trying it. Okay, let's get the power supply back out of this and we'll try it in the G20 and see what that has to say for itself, and then perhaps we'll take this mechanism apart to take the head out and have a look at it, since although the head in this one might be better condition than the other one, it looks a lot cleaner. So maybe we'll take the head out of the other one, get the power supply out, the one good power supply, put this aside. Okay, here we got the G20 with some bag of goodies in it by the sound of it. Yeah, so we did look at that. Different system, it's all on the front panel. There's no flapping out control panel on this. Let's get the top off. It's pretty much the same. No power supply though. So I'm going to take all the bits off to get into that. So it's just the same as before, where you got to take the bottom off. I'm guessing I took the power supply out of this one to get one of the other ones going that's in my collection still, presumably. Probably because the one in here didn't blow up as soon as it was plugged in. Oh yeah, which probably means the bag of stuff that's in here is all of the screws that I didn't bother putting back in. Yes, so this stuff won't be very simple, it's just ready to fall apart. Yes, this one's much easier because yeah, it's all together, the screws are already out, clips are already released, and join the power supply on. Those wires are getting mounted. Which was the good one? The one that's slightly warm. So that goes that way. And this plugs into here. Yeah, what a terrible system that is, with these little tiny wires. Why not put a plug on it? Some of the other models, they do have a plug. I think they realized pretty quick that this is very bad. I guess it's from G25 onwards maybe, or G30 onwards. There's a proper plug with a header and wires. Instead of this weird ribbon thing. The ones I got here today are PAL. There are NTSC ones with the same model numbers, and there's probably NTSC ones with other model numbers like the PV series. We just try it like that. Need to put anything else together, do we? Let's plug it in and see what happens. Okay, the clock's come on. It's 1986. Must mean the year it was released. Power's up. Get a tape in there and see what it brings us any joy. It's pretty gross and dirty. You can see how stiff it is in that direction, and it's freer in that direction. So I think the oil's still okay in this one. Doesn't sound very good, does it? Yeah. Yeah, I think this has got mechanism problems. It doesn't want to do anything. And now it's stuck between. Yeah, that's a shame. Okay, it can do rewind. Can do fast forward. No. It gets stuck when you try and do fast forward. I wonder what it's doing at that point. Okay, that's wrecked it completely now, because that's gone into a kind of play mode, but that peeled itself off. Okay. Might have just written off this tape. Yeah, unfortunately this machine is not really Copus Mentis. We'll have to try and manually eject the tape out of it. So we can trigger the loading by pushing that thing in. There's a little lever there that I've pushed in. We should be able to trigger the loading mechanism to unload. Okay, it's released the tape. Maybe it didn't wreck it that much. Yeah, so what you can do, problem is we've got the power supply hanging out of it, is the mechanism gets triggered by this little lever thing here, so it changes between running the reels for fast forward, rewind, play, etc., and it goes into the loading states. I think there's a solenoid. There's something that triggers that. Seems like that pulley is wrecked. Maybe that's half the problem. That's interesting. The little idler thing. Let's investigate that. That should not be flapping around like that. That's been taken off before. I wonder if I had a go at it or it was someone else. Is that thing worn out? How loose it is. I wonder if it was done up too tightly and it's worn itself down. I'm thinking, what one should we look at in these other machines? You see, that's really stable. I guess it was put on too tight and it wore itself down from years of operation while it was too tight. Not sure if that's responsible for its issues though. Let's get the mechanism out and have a look at it and get this power supply off. To remember that's the good one. So we might be able to make one good machine out of all this stuff, since we had a machine mostly working but it had a pretty worn out head on it. Let's get the head off this one and put it onto that machine. So let's do the bad thing and take this mechanism off, and it will lose the sync, lose the phase as they called it. So what will happen now is when we pull this off, the sync will be lost. Assuming it was okay in the first place, it might have already been wrecked. See the alignment? Okay. And so what happens is that rack is now disengaged from that gear. The full loading cycle is just over that length of those teeth there. You could have a tape in it, otherwise that gets in the wrong place. Ah, look, a little piece of stuff there. Oh, it fell into there. Okay, so yeah, there's the solenoid which operates that little lever that I was pushing. Now we should be able to get this mechanism out. You can see how they've improved the back tension band. There's the arm that it goes on, and the felt band is now clamped at each end. It's no longer glued onto a metal strip that it eventually just falls off of. So that's a big improvement there, because that's, yeah, replacing that felt band was always the common problem in the older machines. ground wire up to here. They've got the two posts there where they would have the shield over the top of the head assembly, but it's not fitted on this model. You see the mechanism, fairly well simplified. Head amp there. Because we've got the right JIS screwdrivers, we can get that screw there off without destroying it. If you try and use a Phillips on that, it won't work. It will just strip out and the metal will just bend away if you try and push hard to make it grab. See, it's already bent down, probably because someone else has tried to take it off without the right screwdriver. I don't know why they put such a long screw just to go through a little piece of sheet metal, so now the head amp can unplug. What I always thought was interesting in these machines is that there's a double row header to hook up the capstan motor. Look at that. Pretty interesting. Very uncommon to see that. I suppose they got that specially made because there wasn't enough length, maybe? I don't know, they could have had a long one that way and just put the hall sensor over there. But yeah, double row one with different length rows. That's quite exciting. Well, to me that's exciting. I suppose it's just whatever to most people. So we're going to take this head out, head drum assembly. So the motor drive for it is on the thing itself, which is quite well integrated. So the drive that's on the board there will be the capstan. Oh, we've got to take the grounding probe thing off first. Oh well. We call that a brush drag strip thing. Okay, so that head assembly will come out. It's pretty worn. It's gone kind of dull looking. Standard 2 head stuff. Well, I think there might be more than one in there for the, or 3, because it's got the other angled head for doing this, the super still and super fine slow. This is cylinder drive, part of the thing. That's neat. I guess that's why it's got such thin, just such a small number of wires, so it's only that going to it to make it do all of the things. We have the sync pulse feedback thing, a power supply, and not much else. Double-sided through all-plated board. Pretty uncommon, they would have paid a lot for that. It's a real thin one as well. Because all the head pickups are there, which go on the top side of the board over to that header. And then the motor stuff's on the bottom side. There's no internal layer. Okay, I think we're going to try putting a head in that one that worked. And then I think that will be us for today. Well, then we'll take the worst looking one apart just to see that oil bearing thing. They caution you a lot in the manual to never ever undo any of that stuff because it will be broken immediately. It will be destroyed beyond repair. Well, I have taken one apart a long time ago, put more grease in there and put it back together, and it was fine after that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the one that worked but had the dodgy looking head, but I was otherwise fine. I think it's the other machine that's got the best looking head in it. So let's put the power supply into this one and check it again, and then we'll swap the heads over and see if anything happens. I'm not really expecting it to be good or anything. Again, we've got to get these stupid wires lined up. This one's been unplugged a lot of times and they've gone all flimsy at the bottom. Okay, I think that's as thin as they're gonna get. So we'll mount that up. Okay, well, let's see if this comes back to life. Sort of working. Okay, we're going to get the head out of the other one and chuck it in this machine and see if we can get a better picture, maybe? Okay, I don't know how much I did without actually recording. Pulled the heads out of... Oh, that's really annoying. Pulled the heads out of the other machines. This is the one that worked the most. So I've just loosened off the head for that. And we can get that out, because that one is really gross looking. Looks very dirty. Maybe I was cleaning it with a dirty thing. Anyway, we're going to put this one in because it seemed better. Although that's kind of debatable. So you missed the whole thing about where I explained how you replace the heads by... Normally you just take the top drum part off by desoldering those bits indicated by the arrows, using a head puller, which you screw into those threads there, which winds in, pushes against this and pops it off, and then you put in a new one. Yeah, I forgot to push record. So let's clean this thing up. Carefully clean between where the heads are. You don't damage them. You wouldn't use a fluffy thing like a tissue on the actual bits where the heads protrude from the drum, because you'll wreck them. But I want to get that oily greasy stuff off there. Yeah, I've touched that now. Made a mess everywhere. Okay, it's getting better. Although this isn't actually going to affect the playback, is it? Because it's just going to affect how dirty your tapes get when you run them in it. Okay, let's put this in and then we'll give it a proper, like, actual head clean. Problem is my fingers are so dirty, they're making a mess of it. Okay, clean fingers, so we'll wipe that around there. Just the luck will be that this is the only one that has the bad bearings. Or bad oil thruster thing. Yeah, there's a plastic post there. And that locates in a hole. Okay. Let's put back the wire. Put back the screws, I mean. The wire. There's some hairs in the mechanism stuck to the grease. It's all very dusty. I only just replaced this paper the other day and now it's all dirty again. Okay, I've got a new head in there. And I'll put back one of these grounding doofies. See, we've lost the grease. Good. Now we want to give that a bit of a final wipe down and then we'll try it out. Need a new strip of paper for the cleaning. Okay, let's clean the head and then we'll try this thing out. Oh yeah, you can feel the head protruding a much better on this one. Yes, that other one was really worn out. This one here, I think. There's nothing there. Similar with that. Oh, no, that one's not as bad. So yeah, this is better. This head is better. It's also very clean. It's good. I think we're good to go now. Let's power this up. We're in 1987, according to the clock there. Put in a tape. The door's all gross. There's so much dust that needs to be fully stripped down. Everything polished and cleaned. Bring it back to original full glory. Whatever. Okay, let's try it out. Just fast forward in case we got a bad part on the tape. I'm gonna wreck the new head we just put in. Not new, but anyway. Alright, didn't make any difference. Just adjust the tracking and get it fully good. Anyway, well, we haven't made it worse by replacing the head. Maybe it's fine now. See, that is fairly stable and good. You can adjust the picture softness, the edge enhancement. Oh, look at that. You get to see that in backwards. Great, there you go. VCR. A National NV-21 EA version. More or less working. That's quite exciting. Good condition. So it could, yeah, swap for the non-broken one of these. Okay, let's see here. Because that's got the broken off control panel part. You could get rid of that. Put this good one on, which doesn't have that end part broken off of it yet. Clean everything else up. Good working VCR. Need to replace all the caps in the power supply. That would be the next thing to do, because otherwise it's gonna go bang soon. Alright, let's take a look inside the video head. I've got these two. I'm gonna pick the worst one to take apart. Probably that one, since it looks all smudgy. To get that board off, we have to desolder those. The motor must be internal. There's a little heatsink plate on that, going onto that little driver IC. Just wondering, where is the connection to the motor? Like the coils inside it. Is it those? No, that's just like a stabilizing thing. I think it's under that. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I see. Oh, the head connections are those. Yeah, so there's three. That'll be the two main video heads, and then the angled head for the slow and still. Thinking, do we bother trying to get the desoldering tool on and take all this off? I think we're going to get anywhere going in that way. Take the head off in the normal way. You'd first undo these screws, then you gotta desolder those four, then that should slide off. And I'm also thinking we've got to get one of these things to do these. The things that you're never ever supposed to undo. Perhaps we should find that in the manual and look at it. Just while we're waiting for the desoldering tool to warm up. Okay, so the replacement of the cylinder unit. Work with extreme care when removing or replacing the direct drive cylinder unit. Do not touch the video head during servicing. Remove the screws there. Pull off the head amp pack. The earth holder unit. Disconnect the 5-pin connector, that thing. Then remove the 3 screws on the bottom. Then just lift it out. Oh, so it tells you how to replace the board. There's very little clearance between the unit and the chassis. Remove it gently and carefully. Reinstall a new one. Tighten the 3 screws. Reinstall earth and the head amp pack. Gently rub the video head in the direction of the tape travel with a head cleaning stick. Confirm the performance. If further maintenance is required, perform tape interchangeability adjustment, which will be adjusting the height of the rollers, the guides. Replacement of the circuit board, which is what we're about to try and do. Take off screws, the metal cover, a heatsink plate, head disassembly, so those 2 screws, then 4 thingies, upper cylinder replacement. Now it says, do not loosen these screws. We'll do that soon. Do not loosen the 3 screw screws on the top of the cylinder as shown below. If these screws are loosened, cylinder motor is broken and not restored. I think it was more strongly worded in the NV-180 manual. We'll have a look at that when we get to that VCR. So let's see if we can get this off. These ones should be fine because they're just single-sided. Not a through-hole plated board on the top of the head. Oh yeah, this is good. I think those are all desoldered nicely. There you go. So that's the bit that you would normally be replacing. Cylinder head assembly. You can see the windings on it and the gap. Very small gap there where the magnetic thingamybobs happen. That one's fully worn down. It's gone flush pretty much. So those wires come up to there. So that's just a board which just transfers the connection onto this part. Just wondering if there's any indication of which way around it goes. It does say T or something, and that has a 4 printed. Anyway, let's get the other side off. These are through-hole plated, so they're a bit trickier to desolder. At least this is back in the day of lead solder, so it's a lot easier to deal with. Way back in the day of lead solder. Okay, and then there's these ones around the edge with the motor. Yeah, that says VH. Maybe that's a hall sensor. Say so. Yeah, and that's got M1, M2, M3 to be the motor windings. Is there a common? Maybe. I think that's it. Let's see. Bent those wires. Yes, look at that. That's soldered down. The heatsink plate thing. Yes, that's the motor driver I see. EN3812K. Little capacitors on there. Then the windings join up onto those. Ah, look, there's some screws there. I feel like that is... Oh, I see. That is the magnet, which is now not attached anymore because I undid those screws. Yeah, so that would have been pulled upwards. Yeah, so all that was turning. And then I undid the screws to it. Okay, so let's undo this thing that you're not allowed to undo according to the manual. And we'll see what's under there. Here's a Torx screw, so that makes it difficult to undo, so that you don't accidentally undo them. I think they were done up a certain amount. Yeah, you can see there's a special shape on that to make it work like an oil pump, to force oil into the center part there to push on it to create a thrust. Now though, unfortunately, there's a clip, like a C clip around the top of the shaft. I must have undid this before on the one that I took apart, unless there's different designs. See if you can get that out. There we go. There you go, it's over there somewhere now. Okay. There's a magnet for the motor. Oh, look at that, there's the windings that go onto that magnet. And the special thrusting stuff. I thought there was engravings on the shaft. That was my memory of this thing. That maybe there are different versions. I can't remember what one I took apart before. Pretty sure it was an NV-180. So yeah, maybe that's different. So I think that's a hall sensor there. And those black things there are just the terminals going down to it. It's like an induction cooker. Then around there, and around the inside of there, is the coils for the head pickup. Transfer the signal from the heads across the spinning. Wondering if that will pop out so we can look at the shaft better. I don't think so. I think it's being glued in very well. There you go, it came out. I wanted to see was, is there any special shapes on the shaft to make the oil pumping? Doesn't appear to. If it is, it's microscopic. Well, there's a gash in it now from what I just did to it. It might be in there. This was the bad power supply. I suppose while we're at it we should take a look in there. Bad power supply. And just clean up the soldering, desoldering to unblock it, make sure it's not left blocked. Very, very important. Make sure the molten solder drains out into the collection area before turning it off. That's critical. Okay, we'll get the soldering iron juiced up and we'll take the covers of this and have a quick look inside there. Yeah, there's a device on there. I'm pretty sure they put the heatsink on the wrong side of it. Oh no, that's on the right side. Okay. Sink in STK, something around a rather integrated power regulator. Okay, I'm gonna try and get these off. Oh, I have got a bigger soldering iron tip, maybe we should have put that in. Anyway, this will do for now. It's good to have a big soldering iron tip around. Look at that, double insulated. There's a genuine bodge. Get the other side off. Great. More insulation. Double insulation. A special barrier that went down there, where it's separating the secondary side from the primary side. So again, double insulation between the main switching device and the chassis, because it's an ungrounded appliance, so it has to be double insulated. Well, in some regions it does, so they'll do it for all of them. Plastic bracket across the switching device. It's an integrated Darlington switch mode doofy STR1006. Wow, so it's actually triple insulated. We got a mica sheet, then we got two of this, what do you call it, Fuji poly or sil pad material. And then there's another metal tab thing in there. That's quite extreme, isn't it? Yeah, we turned off the soldering iron too soon. See if we can find any evidence of it going bad. Because these things run so hot, you can get dry joints. Things like the regulators. This is going to be pretty difficult to desolder. It's got clips as well. And the problem is it's getting so hot. Okay, that's that side done. Now I need to heat it up and then just tap the solder out. There we go, that's better. Not onto the bench, but into something. Went on the bench anyway. Great. It's hot. Now there's these bits where the connector is, the power connector. Oh, and there's that as well. Oh yeah, there's some suppression through a whole bunch of series Y caps onto the frame. I wonder if I can bend these back once it's melted. Good. I can smell capacitors, I think. Yeah, once you heat up the juice that's leaked out of them. Oh, I see. You have to slide that out. Quite an art to getting that off. I think it would have been easier just to desolder the connector, wouldn't it? Because now there's too much solder lumped onto that for that to easily slide past. Power supply. Look at that. They sleeve all the Y caps so if they explode, I guess, double insulate them. Those ones have been hot and gone discolored. I think all this stuff's been toasty. Something's happening there. Some kind of juice stuff on that. I think that resistor there was pretty hot. So one of the things that happens is those two electrolytics in there go bad, and then the thing won't start up, or it will just explode because they're probably involved in critical timings. If we should pull them out and look at them. .47 mic, 16 volts. And what's this? Also 47 mic, 16 volts. Yeah, that was a bit pongy. There's not very much evidence of leaking. Save that one there, would have though. Let's get that out and look at it. Yeah, it's gone a bit bulgy at the bottom. Yeah, so that's possibly part of the problem. This other little one also looks a bit bulgy at the bottom. Yeah, they've just spent too long really hot. Getting a bit hot and bothered. Well, they've either leaked or dried out. That's what will happen, or both. Okay, let's try measuring some of these just to see what the deal is. I was most interested in those ones on the primary side, those 47 microfarads, 16 volts. Let's see what they have to say. Oh, 44, 11 ohms though, that's pretty budget. Expect it to be sort of around 1 ohm. So yeah, that's bad. Yeah, maybe the battery being a bit low on this thing isn't the best either. 8.945, so yeah, it's pretty had it. This is a 50 volt 47. Okay, that's not too bad. Still a bit low. ESR is pretty good. Although, hang on, no, that says 0.13 k ohms. 130 ohms, really? Okay, well that's really wrecked then. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe that's completely headed as well. It says 47 microfarads. Let's measure that. What is this? This is a 1000 microfarad 10 volt. I'm gonna try this. Yeah, come out to 682 ohms, so yeah, it's wrecked. They're all ruined. Just wanted to see what a second opinion on this. Yeah, it's not happy about it, so probably we could get this power supply working again by replacing all the caps. And yeah, don't forget to do the ones on the primary side. Really important. 1200 microfarads. Yes, that says it's about right. But yeah. There you go, so we could restore this back to good health. Nothing else is ruined. Crusty. Those ceramic caps are probably still fine. That main input cap is probably a bit wrecked as well. It's 85-degree cap, so it's probably been smoking away all its life. At least that thing hasn't exploded yet. Great. There you go, that's National NV-G20 and G21 VCRs. We'll look at more VCRs in future videos because there's piles and piles of them here to look at. More than 100, as I keep saying. But that's it for today.